So we're out here in a wheat field. We want to walk you through just this whole process. I know it doesn't seem like much right now, but let's take a look, because this is the start of the next season. So for an onion program, this is where it all begins. As you can see, as they go through and they cut this wheat stubble down, you'll end up with these stalks that are this long. What they'll do is they'll come back through and they'll cut them down even smaller. As you look over here, they'll windrow that material. Oftentimes a lot of it is baled off, and really what you're left with is, as you look out over this field, you're left with a lot of stubble that needs broken down. And so that becomes one of the main sources of what we need to accomplish this fall. The good thing is we're sitting here at beginning of August, and we've got a couple of months for this process to unfold. So what does that look like? Well, we really need to utilize, after this is baled, we need to utilize some breakdown inoculants. We got some very specific inoculants that have cellulose and lignin degraders in there, as well as a multitude of other beneficial microbes. We need to aid in that process. So we got to add nitrogen into this process. The nitrogen helps break down all this carbonous material. You really want to be at a ratio of roughly 20-to-1. So with this carbon, we might have a couple of tons of carbon out here, and we need to break that down by matching that with a certain percentage, that ratio of nitrogen. Now, we already have nitrogen in this soil. We know that. We'll know exactly how much if we go in and we sample this soil. We're going to add some to start that process as well and get that going, as well as some of the other things that we're going to add. So what we found is, if you really want to break this material down, you need that biology. We can add even more biology with fish hydrolysate, things like that. We also add in, carbon materials into that process with that. So you're talking fulvic acid, you're talking, humics, things like that. So carbon sources, sugar or molasses will feed those microbes and aid in that process as well. Another things that we use is enzymes to stimulate how rapid we can break down and get that microbial process moving. So we have some very specific products and very specific components that when we put this together, we would spray it on a field like this, and then we would turn that material down into the ground and get the water going, and you start your breakdown process. All right, so as we bring you out here in this field, you can kind of see what this wheat stubble looks like. This is all stuff that will break down. Now, in an onion program, why is it so important to break down this material? Well, especially with onions, we got to have a really clean seed bed. What that's going to help us with is, one thing is seed to soil contact, which is huge when you're talking about germinating onion seed. The other big part of this process, why we're interested in doing this and breaking down as much material in the fall as we can, is oftentimes bulb mites and these other things will overwinter in soils with a lot of residue. So if we want to eliminate bulb mite problems, we've got to eliminate this residue out here in this field. And that's why it's important to invest in a program that's built specifically to do that. So when we talk about solving problems with onions and eliminating fumigation, we've got to eliminate things like residue that these insects harbor in and make it in to the next season, because that's going to eliminate some of our problems for next year. Okay, so just to kind of recap all this for you, what's going to happen from here is we're going to come out and we're going to put down a residue breakdown solution, right? Inoculants, all those processes that feed it, products that augment the process, nitrogen, we're talking enzymes, we're talking carbohydrates, sugars, humic, all those kind of things that really are going to break all this material down. So we're going to come across, we're going to spray that material on what you see here. Next steps after that will be, they will come through here and they will disc this stuff under, work it into the soil. That's going to get those microbes working on those things in the soil. All those materials that we discussed, they're going to run some water through here, water things up, and then this digestion process will start. So next time you see us and you see this field, we'll be on our way to good clean seed beds that don't harbor insects over the season, and really good look at a great onion crop starting from the fall.